I'm William Scuba, owner of Modern Roofing. Uh, we are a storm damage restoration and retail roofing company based in the Panhandle of West Virginia and Pennsylvania right now.
Awesome. What was building and recruiting a sales team like before working with SRU?
Uh, it was unsystematized at best.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it was pretty random, right? A couple people happened to know, old colleagues I used to work with, word of mouth entirely.
Yeah.
Um, and I knew I just needed someone that I could outsource the recruiting to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So what have you learned and, accomplished since working with us?
Well, we have grown from 3 reps to 12 current reps.
Yeah.
Yep. In when do we start?
8
10
weeks
weeks ago,
ago?
8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, something like that. Which is great. I mean, you know how sales reps are. We're not going to
Yeah.
retain all 12, but like that's 12 people in the door, right? Um, so that's pretty good. And actually, we found one rep who is in her first 6 weeks is pacing 1.8 mil already for the year. So like that's like a rare find. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so I was pretty. If that's the only one that lasts, that was worth it, right?
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Great job.
Yes.
Great job. What were some initial concerns before, maybe in the sales process with us and working with us, and how have those been resolved for you?
Well, initial concerns are control, right?
Mm.
I like to know what's going on at all times.
Yeah.
Um, I like to um, yeah, I like to control the message that's going out,
Yeah.
right? And then control the filter the people coming in, right? However, so far, no major issues with that. Aries, my I guess account manager or whatever you call him, um, he's super responsive. Like we've changed a couple of the ads, we've changed a couple of the targeting requirements, to narrow down certain areas or certain skills we're looking for. So, it's relatively it's not as much of an issue as I thought.
Cool. What's exceeded your expectations since working with us, if anything at all?
The efficiency largely, right? I mean, like I have to turn on my computer twice a week for group calls, and
Yeah.
then I have to manually call the other fellas, who will book one-on-ones later. But everything else is pretty much taken care of. All the texts are automated, all the reminders are automated. Um, the resumes are gone through and filtered out like by someone. Like that's it's pretty nice to outsource that.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. What would you say to a company considering to work with SRU?
Uh, well, a company in the only companies I can speak to are in my field, right? And I
Yeah.
think if you are a small business owner, you definitely don't have the time to devote to this that you ought to, right?
Yeah.
So, um, number one, outsourcing it is helpful, full stop, to anyone. But then number two, simply by like an iterative process, you guys have gotten much better at it than any small business owner would because
Yeah.
you do it 500 times. You see how it works in 500 companies,
Hmm.
and you just have more data to go off of. So you guys are, by the fact itself, better at it, right? So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I don't see even larger companies who might
Hmm.
have the resource to bring it in house in the roofing industry. I'm not sure it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome, man. I appreciate your time today. That's it.
Cool. Alrighty, thank you.